Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Matt here with a video today showing you how to install iOS 7 Beta 2 specifically onto an iPad mini. Well, that's the device I'll be using. However, this tutorial is basically the same for any devices out there which support iOS 7 installation. So again, I'm doing this on my iPad mini. You can do this on any 4th gen, 3rd gen, or 2nd gen iPad, as well as the iPhone 5, 4S, 4, and iPod Touch 5th generation. A large list of devices there that are supported. The reason I'm doing it on an iPad mini today is just to show you again, because today was kind of monumental and it's the first day we've seen iOS 7 running on iPads. It wasn't released in Beta 1, so technically if you are installing iOS 7 Beta 2 onto an iPad, you need to do it with this method. If you're already running iOS 7 Beta 1 on a device, if your iPhone or iPod, you can simply just go into the Settings app, software update, and check for an update. However, if you're not and you need to install iOS 7 Beta 2 like this, it will work and you can use this method regardless of what software you're running previously. So without any further ado, let's get started. This is going to be a quick PSA public service announcement because I cannot tell you the amount of people that screw up which firmware they need for their device. So we're going to set this straight once and for all with this video. So as you see here, this is the list of devices that are supported with iOS 7 Beta 2. There's a large one. Let's not get too confused. There's going to be two simple links you can use if we just pull up Safari here. One is for clarifying your iPad model and one is for identifying your iPhone model. So depending on which device you're using, all you need to simply do, because again you look over here and say, for me I have the iPad mini, and I have no idea if I have the 432, the 454, or the 455. It's very simple. All you have to do is flip over your iPad or iPhone, etched on the aluminum most likely, or the plastic, etched on the aluminum. Again, all these devices have aluminum backs. You will see something that says model number. Again, I don't have my iPad video up yet, but you'll see in a little bit here. It will say model, and it's going to say model with an asterisk, and then it'll have a small number. So for an example, I'm going to pull up an iPhone right here. This is an iPhone 4 I have in front of me that just to test, and it says model A1332. So if we go back up to this list, and I go to the iPhone 4, A1332 right here, iPhone 4 GSM model, so I would use the A1332, so GSM model, I'd go over to this list, iPhone 4, GSM model right here. That's when you want, it'll tell you if you have revision A, which you most likely do not. And then, so say we need, for the iPad mini, I'm going to flip mine over here, and it says on my iPad mini I have the A1432, so say I didn't know what iPad mini version I had, here we go, iPad mini Wi-Fi A1432, so I'd go and download the A1432 right here corresponding for my iPad mini. So again, simply flip over your device. There's a bunch of other methods out here, but the model number etched in the back does not lie. Flip over your device, get the correct model number, download it for your device. If you're on the iPhone 4S, there's only one iteration. If you're on the iPad 2, there's still a couple other iterations, but again, so hang tight and be sure that you have the correct one. Use this list, double, triple check, make sure that you have the correct version for your iPad or iPhone. And then once you're done, you can go ahead and install. Again, your downloads list may not look like this. You may be getting it from IMZDL or Beta ISO or whatever it may be. But it'll be essentially like this. It'll have all the different firmwares and you can go ahead and install them. So once you install it, it's going to come in two different versions. You can either get it in a .dmg like so, which if you're on a Mac is not a big deal whatsoever. If you're on a PC, you have to do a little bit of converting. I'll post a link down below. I created a video just about a year ago of how to convert a .dmg and extract the .ipsw, which is what you essentially need in the end of this process. Again, some PC softwares can do that right out of the box. Some you need to install something else. So I'll post a link for that down below. You may know how to do that on your own. Whatever it may be, it's fairly simple. But again, if you don't need to do that, don't screw around with it. If you can just click it and open it up, it should run this quick scan here if you're on a Mac, and then you should have .ipsw right there. Again, if you're on a Mac, this will all take place fairly easily. You don't need to install anything else. However, you may get the .ipsw as the download. When you download it from IMZDL or wherever you get it from, it may just come as a straight .ipsw, in which case no conversion is needed regardless of what operating system you're on. So essentially what you need in the end is just a .ipsw, and no, you cannot simply just change the extension on the file. A lot of people think if you go to get info and you change this to .ipsw that you're set and ready. No, you're not. If you're on a PC, you must extract it using a software. Again, I'll post a link down below, but it seems like less and less people are needing to do that now, as it either comes pre-ready to be installed or your PC has the software to do that. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and open up iTunes. Quick pre-note is be sure that you're on the most current version of iTunes. It makes things a little bit easier. If you go to preferences, or sorry, not preferences, if you go to About iTunes right here, 11.0.4, then you should be good to go. As you can see, you can go to iTunes.com and install the latest version. Also, you can go to check for update if you're on a Mac, or however way you want to get to the most recent version of iTunes. And also just make it a little bit easier. Be on the most recent version of your software. So check for an update like so, and make sure that it says you're on the current version. It should be 6.1.3 for everybody, unless you're on an iPhone 5, which then it should be 6.1.4. It's not essential, however, it does definitely helps out, makes it a little bit smoother. So we're going to go ahead here, and here's the one other place it varies whether you're on a PC or Mac. If you're on a Mac, you're going to want to hold the Option key on your keyboard and click Check for Update. If you get this dialog box, you are good to go. And if you're on a Windows, you want to hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and then also click Check for Update, and you should get that essentially the same as doing Option Check for Update on a Mac. So as you see here, we want to get our .ipsw. So to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to drag it onto my desktop just so it's easy to locate. Put it somewhere you're familiar with. Again, you want the .ipsw. So once you've done that, we can go back over here. I'm going to do Option Check for Update on my iPad. And again, you want to be sure that your firmware or your UDID is registered. If you're not registered, you can head on over to iosbetas.com to become registered. If you try and run this software without being pre-registered, it will not work. iosbetas.com lets you register your UDID. Your UDID, if you're curious, is this number right here. If you've never heard of this, you probably are not registered. Once you've done that, you can run all the versions of the beta software. If you're not registered, it will brick up your device, so that's a fair warning. Be sure you registered at iosbetas.com. You can go ahead and do that. Link will be down below. So again, Option right here, check for update. And I'm going to go ahead and just click restore. But before we do that, let's flip on the camera here so you can watch what's going on the iPad. So I'm just going to flip on my camera right here. All right, so there it is. That is the camera. As you see, this is my iPad mini. This is one I just picked up today. And you can go ahead. It doesn't matter if you have content on it or not. As you see, this is kind of a fresh one. There's not much to it. However, it doesn't really matter. You're doing a check for update, so it should not erase anything. So I'm going to do Option Check for Update. There is my file. Again, double, triple check. Make sure that it is the correct firmware file, and go ahead and click Open. It will say, are you sure you want to go to 7.0? Click Update and let it do its thing. Now this you have to be very patient with. Make sure if you're on a laptop, you're plugged in. Don't unplug your iDevice, blah, blah, blah. Let it do its thing. I suggest just leaving iTunes. Walk away from your computer, get up, get a drink, whatnot, get some food. Just let it do its thing. A lot of people try and quit out of iTunes or something dumb, which could screw up the process. It works best if you just let it go. It's going to take a little while. Again, it is installing a completely fresh operating system onto your iPad or your iPhone or whatnot. So as you can see here, you can see what the iPad itself is doing. We'll try and get this. So there it is. As you see, it has the new white Apple logo on it right there, which has to do with iOS 7. So once it's done that, you're going to get this status bar. And again, just let it go. All right, so don't unplug it. Make sure your computer doesn't die if you're on a laptop. As you see, I took my time. I did the software check. I made sure I had the right version, and nothing wrong should happen. There's no strings attached to this, no gimmicks behind this. This is my first attempt at this, and I'm doing it perfectly fine right now. As you see, nothing special about this. It's just going to go ahead. It's going to verify updated iPad software. Again, it's going to make sure you're registered. If you're not registered, please be sure. That's a big problem. It will tell you if you're not, because you probably haven't gone to iosbetas.com. So make sure you are registered your UDID. If you've done so with beta 1 or whatnot, you're good to go. You don't need to re-register for each new beta release. As long as you've been registered within the last 2 or 3 weeks or sometime for iOS 7, you are good to go. But it's just going to go ahead and update the iPad software. This takes about 10 minutes or so, depending on what kind of iPad or device you have. So I'm going to walk away, and then I'll come back when the software is finished updating. All right, guys, so I am back, as you see right here, and we now have our iPad with iOS 7 running on it. It says the update has been completed, which is good. Again, I just took the video off so I didn't have to bore you with 5 more minutes of a loading screen. But this was, again, first attempt. As you see, nothing wrong. UDID registered. Make sure you get the correct software, and it should be as smooth as butter like I'm showing you here. So I'm going to go ahead and just continue walk through this process. So give me a second. Just watch the iPad screen as I do this. All right, and there it is. So here is our iPad running iOS 7. Easy as that. That was the tutorial video. Again, there's going to be plenty other videos out there showing you how this works. Remember, this is still in beta, so there's going to be some glitches and bugs, but they'll be fixed along the way in 2 weeks from now when beta 3 is released, and then 4 weeks when beta 4 is released, and so on and so forth. So again, that was how to install iOS 7 Beta 2 onto an iPad mini, completely fresh from iTunes. No glitches, easy as that, but this will work on Mac and PC, and the process is the same for any device you may use. Just be sure that you have the correct firmware, and nothing should go wrong. So guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Any comments, whatever you want to do. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.